What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Before we get into today's games, 10 more games of gameplay for you guys today. I want to show you guys my player instructions and custom tactics as they are right now for this current weekend league. One of the most common comments I'm getting right now, which is also from someone like Reese Baker, is can you show your player instructions and custom tactics? So we're going to get into that before we get into the games. Obviously I start with the 4-3-2-1, and then in terms of the custom tactics, and I tell you something, it's actually I've got some bad things in here. So for me, I only use one formation. I just use the 4-2-3-1. I don't switch into any other formations. I don't use any other formations. I really should switch and take the time to develop ultra defensive attacking and ultra attacking into some formations and tactics that can help me high press and help me defend a lot. Because of the games that I've played so far, one or two of the losses I was leading and definitely could have done something to change it. And in fact, also in FUT Rivals, I just played a 4-2-3-1 because I'm so efficient with it, and I never ever set myself up so that if I'm losing or drawing and want a winning goal, I can go all out, or if I'm winning or drawing and want to hold on, I can go really defensive, and it costs me from time to time. So this week, the reason why I was scared to do it was because I'm performing so well with the 4-2-3-1 that I don't want to start switching formations left, right and centre all over the place, because I just know that it's going to end up costing me if I don't master the formations first. So after I finish this weekend league, we're going to master some more formations and get into it. So as you can see, I use the defensive. So this is exactly what my custom tactics are like. Drop back, 3 width, 3 depth. Offensive, I have it as balanced, which sometimes does cause me some issues because I want my players to get up a little bit quicker, and sometimes I want them to get in behind. But again, that should be on me to just create a new tactic that has long ball or fast build up. You know, if in fact I should probably play on fast build up. It will suit my gameplay more because I play drop back, low width, low depth. I kind of play counter-attacking football because I just let the AI defend for me and then I just try and hit people on the break. So I probably should play fast build-up. I've got a lot of width, no players in the box, mid-corners, mid-free kicks. I just find that to be the best, the natural one. The reason why I put players in the box down to 3, somebody explained it to me as this actually impacts your CDMs. So obviously I have high on Fred and medium on Nzonzi. If I had my players in the box up here, and Nzonzi and Fred would constantly keep pushing up, get to the top of the box, and I would get caught on the counter far more. Because I have it all the way down here, they stay a lot deeper, so when people do counter against me, I'm not getting... I've got my 2 CDMs there, I've got my 2 centre-backs, and then I'm tracking back with the full-backs or the other wingers. So those are my custom tactics right there, guys. And then in terms of the player instructions, very simple. Stay central and get in behind for my striker. Nothing on the right-hand side cam, nothing on the left-hand side cam either. My center cam is stay on the edge of the box for crosses, and I do that. You know, this won't necessarily work for everyone, and I implore you to not copy me. You have to figure something out that works for you, not something that works for me that you hope will work for you. I use stay on the edge of the box for crosses with De Bruyne because his finesse shot is so good and he's got the 5-star weak foot. I can find him at any time and just have the space to shoot with him, which is why I've got him to stay on the edge of the box for crosses. And then my 2 CDMs are stay back while attacking and cover centre, and Fred is stay back while attacking and cover centre, and the rest of my team is just all default. Everything's basic. So those guys are my custom tactics and player instructions. Did I change that by mistake? I did. Drop back. Wait, what happened there? What happened? Why did it reset? What? Anyway, there we go. So, do I want to save the changes? No, I don't want to save the changes. But yeah, guys, those are my player instructions and custom tactics right there. Let's get into some gameplay. Alright guys, as we go into the gameplay, the first opponent we'll come up against has got a very good team. Hazard, Kondogbia, Kante, Firmino, Valencia, Sol Campbell, Varane, Jordi Alba and Courtois. And I want to go first and foremost into a comment about the team, right? About people saying that my team is good and I should never complain and so on and so forth. And the comment is from O'Flappio. He says, "Hey Nep, I know you can't buy players to upgrade your team every week, but the team you have is still far better than 90% of the players and will be for a long time." Now, before we get into the rest of his comment, that's just wrong. And I've got to explain to you guys, like, you got to understand. Look at the team that I'm coming up against here. Now, I ended up winning this game, right? It was a tough game. I really had to focus and concentrate. But My team was good week 1 because people had no coins, no packs, no rewards, there were no SBCs out, and just generally there wasn't much in the game. Already in week 2, the caliber of team I'm coming up against, everybody has got the Fabinhos, the Van Dijks, the Eric Bailly's. I've come up against so many Boateng, Goretzka, Vidal links, Jordi Albas and Marcelos, Antonio Valencias, and the players like Eden Hazard that we've seen in this one, Lukaku's and Aubameyangs, and more I'm coming up against those players. And people keep trying to tell me in the comment section of the videos, you've got no complaints with the team. Your team is so good that when you lose, it's on merits, never on the team. And hey, sometimes I lose the games because the guys are just better than me. The guy in the first 10 games that we lost the game to, he played the game really well. He went high pressure and I just couldn't deal with it. And I lost because he was just outplaying me and was better than me. But look at this. The next team we come up against, Agüero, Fabinho. I didn't even catch the rest of his team, but he's got Gabriel Jesus in there as well. And although I've got a few really good players, I've got Trezeguet who's really good. I've got Varane who's really good. I've got Kevin De Bruyne who's really good. I don't think that anybody else in my team would be in my team if I was running a regular road to glory. Instead of having Florenzi, I would have Antonio Valencia or Kyle Walker. Instead of having Nacho Fernandez, I would have Van Dijk or Davinson Sanchez or Jerome Boateng or Sergio Ramos next to Varane. Instead of having Adan, I would have Thibaut Courtois or I would have Hugo Lloris or David De Gea. Instead of having Mendy at left back, who he just lets me down a lot because he's just not good enough to face the kind of players like the Neymars and the Hazards and the Suarez's and stuff that we come up against. Instead of having Mendy, I would have a Jordi Alba or I would have a Marcelo or a David Alaba or an Alexandro, the kind of players that we constantly come up against that make a big difference. So yeah, whilst my attack is pretty good, I'm not denying that. I've got some really good attackers. My midfielders and defenders just can't compete when I face somebody that is a good player with a good team. Obviously if I face somebody that's also a good player but has a mediocre team, look at our next team that we come up against again. Jerome Boateng, Ter Stegen, Varane, Casemiro, Goretzka, Agüero. Like my team just isn't as good as these teams. And although it looks like a nice team because I've got loads of fancy blue cards in there, I've got an icon in there, Sané is another one in my team that would stay in my team. So Sané, De Bruyne, Trezeguet and Varane are the 4 players in my team that are actually very, very good. I find it very, very hard to explain to you guys why my team needs upgrades. I even tweeted out, because I've finished my games at the time of recording this, and I tweeted out my record, and I talked about how, if I can get a couple of good upgrades this week, I can improve on that record next week. And I'm not going to ruin what the record was, but I still feel like I can improve on my record. I still feel like there are a few games this week that I ended up losing because I just couldn't handle the kind of teams that I was coming up against, and it was tough. It was just really tricky. So, if I got a Casemiro, or if I got a Fabinho, if I got, even like a Vidal who would be better than Nzonzi, somebody with a medium-high work rate and good defensive stats, I would be far, far happier. And also my goalkeeper, Adan, he's not good enough, man. Every time I come up against someone with Ronaldo or Neymar or Harry Kane or whoever it may be, and look, another team, look at that, Dybala, Rajan Angolan, Inform Cancelo, Koulibaly and Manolas, like Oblak, Alexandro, Hamšík and Insigne. These teams are just considerably better than mine. So obviously once I get to a point where my form is really good, at that point I match up not only against really good players, but against really good players with really good teams. And that is the point in which I can't compete. My team is just not good enough against these guys. I give them good games, and some of the games I narrowly lost and some of the games I narrowly won. And, my David Trezeguet, as you see right there, my Kevin De Bruyne and my Leroy Sané, they save me so many times from either losing and they help me carry me through to a win, or they just allow me to score with every opportunity that I have. But generally speaking, my team I need 4 or 5 good upgrades before I can think about myself being considered able to comfortably get elite, and hey, that's not even knowing where I finished this week. I'm talking about with last week's rewards. But my team, it just needs a few upgrades. And for those of you that argue against that, I ask you, go and build the team I have. Go and build the exact team that I have, or if you can't get the UCL cards, go and build it without the UCL versions of the cards. Play games in FUT Rivals and tell me how difficult it is or how easy it is for you based on what you would normally do, because only then will you feel and understand the problems that come with this team. So yeah, I don't want to keep talking about this every week, and I'm not making excuses. I'm absolutely not. I'm enjoying the grind this year. I'm enjoying playing FIFA. In fact, I'm playing really good FIFA. I'm loving the fact that through the week I'm keeping my gameplay sharp because I'm playing in FUT Rivals, and instead of playing divisions or DKT where I just smash people and won't learn anything and then go into the next weekend league just hoping to do good. This time around we're playing against quality players in Rivals. It's keeping us sharp. It's making us learn the game more and more and more. But in terms of what Flappy says, he says the team you have is still far, far better than the 90% of players and will be for a long time. I would initially dispute the fact that it's far, far better. My attack is probably as good as or better than a lot of people's, but my defence and midfield absolutely isn't, outside of Varane. But in terms of being better for a long, long time, I think you misunderstand how this game is going to work. Every single week, people look, another team with Sané, Aubameyang, Eriksen, Kondogbia and Fabinho, Van Dijk and Varane, Courtois. I can't compete with these teams, man. I just can't. Although I can and I can compete with these teams when the player's not as good as me. As soon as the player's as good as me, it's too tough. But with how many rewards are given out through FUT Rivals, FUT Champs and Squad Battles, and due to the fact that everybody else can either take coins or take tradable packs or take untradable packs and use those coins and spend those coins on buying players to upgrade their squad, whilst I have to pack the players to upgrade my squad, I'm going to be in a case where I might still be using this same team or a variant of this exact same team in 3 or 4 weeks' time. Because if I don't pack Sergio Ramos, or if I don't pack Courtois, or if EA don't release an SBC that is going to allow me to improve one of my player spots, my team is going to be stagnant whilst everybody else's is getting better, and it's going to make it really, really difficult. So we end up winning again and again and again and again and again. We got to 15-1, and then we come up against another team here, which is another sick team, another Ramos, another Varane, another Neymar and Mbappe, another De Bruyne and Kante and Fabinho. And as I say, it was getting tougher and tougher, and I was winning games narrower and narrower, and I knew eventually I was going to hit the form where it was going to match me against someone really good, and I was going to end up losing. We had a comment as well, two comments about a couple of the SBCs. So the first comment is from Pernell. He says, why wouldn't you do the Juanfran SBC? It's relatively cheap and there won't be another La Liga right back this good for quite a while, and you're limited in your options if you ever go for a La Liga setup due to the first owner rule. Please reconsider. Worst case scenario, you can use the card down the line for player of the month, team of the year or team of the season SBC. Well, I mean, first and foremost, you can't speak to the fact that this will be the best right back in the league for a long time, because you don't know what's going to happen next week's team of the week. You don't know what SBC they might release next week. They might release the La Liga League SBC and it might be a 92 rated Carvajal. You just don't know, so you can't speak to that. In terms of it being relatively cheap, on PlayStation it's 130,000 coins. I did the Gelson Martins SBC because for 80,000 coins, we got 70,000 coins worth of packs, or 60,000 coins worth of packs, and then ones to watch player as a first owner that was essentially at a cost of 20,000 plus the cost of the packs. With Juanfran, you get a mega pack and a prime election players pack, which I believe is 20k pack and a 35k pack, so you get 55k's worth of packs. If Juanfran was 70 or 80,000 coins, I would be in absolute agreement with you. I'd go and pick him up and I'd go and start using him because it would be good to have him in the team. But because he's 130,000 coins, I'm essentially paying 35k for the one pack, 25k for the other pack, and then like 65k for Juanfran, and it's just a waste, man. It's just a waste, especially due to the fact, one of the things that you mentioned as we come up against yet another insane team, one of the things that you mentioned was you're limited in options if you ever go for a La Liga setup due to the first owner rule. I already have an incredible La Liga right back. I have the informed DeMarcos, and he is very, very good. He's not quite as good as Juanfran, but he's not far off. So if I did want to change my team up and go for a more La Liga-based squad, I could absolutely comprehensively put DeMarcus in there and be happy with my decisions and not have wasted 130,000 coins on a right back that right now wouldn't fit into my team because I don't have a midfielder to put in there to make the whole thing work. The other thing was about Eden Hazard. So somebody, let me try and find that real quick. So Apex said, "Hi Nep, do you think the Player of the Month Hazard is worth it? I'm not quite understanding the game yet. Could you do a video on custom tactics? We had that at the start of this video. Thanks, love your videos, keep up the great work." I don't think Player of the Month Hazard is worth it, and here's why. He is very expensive. He was quite cheap, and I think at that point, when the day one when he came out, he was at 530 to 550, and I think that was reasonable because you get about 350k's worth of packs back. So to pay 200k for that 93 Hazard plus all those packs, what you would buy at pack rate, I thought that was worth it. Right now, he's up at 800,000 on PlayStation and 750,000 on Xbox. And the reason why that's not worth it is because it's an untradeable 93 rated Hazard, whereas his tradable 92, which isn't even that much worse, is only 690k or 600k on PlayStation versus Xbox to purchase and then is sellable. And because Hazard is Hazard, he's playing out of his skin. He is likely to probably get another Player of the Month at some stage or another. At the very least, he will continue to get upgrades via informs and special cards. Spending so many coins this stage in the game on a card that is going to be untradeable, for me personally, is just not worth the time. It's not worth the hassle. So I would say no to Player of the Month Hazard. I would say stay away from him unless you are on a pay-to-win account and have excess coins and excess, resources. Then do him. Why not? Evan says, "Yo, Neb, I've been watching you for years, but this year you're doing pack to glory thing. So what's your goal for the end of FIFA 19? I don't really have a goal, dude. To be fair." This is like Road to Glories used to be about getting to like almost Division 1 and winning it, back in FIFA 12 and 13. I think the new version of Road to Glories is just about sharing your experience playing FIFA throughout the year. Look at that miss from De Bruyne, by the way. 4-4 that would have been in a game that I eventually lost 5-3 from a counter-attack from the goal kick. But if De Bruyne would have put our way, it could have been so different. We ended up getting to 16-1 to 16-3, and I won the final game to go 17-3, but could easily have been 18-2, which would have been nice. But I don't really have a goal. I just want to show you guys what I can achieve through the year of playing FIFA without spending any money and with only packing players to be able to use. And I think, again, because I had such a good start in terms of my pack luck and in terms of what we achieved in the first week or so, I think people have got well ahead of expecting too much from me. With this team, again, we come up against this team. I know I've got an icon, but he's got a better icon striker than me. He's got Koulibaly and Chiellini and Oblak. He's got Alexandro, and it's just I'm having to focus so hard in every game, and I'm having to play genuinely at my absolute best just to be staying in the game against these people. It is not easy. I am having to work every single chance. I'm having to make sure every opportunity I get is a goal for me, and that I'm making sure never to switch into my defenders and let start manually defending, because the AI defense is so important for me specifically that if I switch into one of my defenders and make one mistake, I just get punished immediately. My goal at the moment is just to keep getting better at FIFA and to keep improving this team. I would like to get up to Division 3 and Division 2 in FUT Rivals as soon as possible, just to make sure that I actually can compete at a higher level on a regular basis, even if that means the rewards are going to be worse for a few weeks, but that's where we're going to go with that. So I end up getting 2-1 in this game. This guy stopped playing. I eventually made it 3-1 with Kevin De Bruyne there, and we end up winning the game to go 17-3. So after our first 20 games, guys, we are 17-3. Very, very happy with that. We are going to go live at the end here, talk about the team a little bit, show some stats and whatnot, and that kind of stuff. So I will be right back. All right, guys, so after 20 games, as you will very well know, I am 17-3. I'm very happy with how I'm playing this weekend. Even the game that I lost in the first set of 10 where I went 9-1, I lost to a guy, I didn't adapt quick enough in that game. He played a really high press game the whole game. He put 5 past me. I had a few chances to get back into the game, but ultimately he just deserved the win. He earned his win very, very well. At 9-1, leaving it on Friday, I was debating playing a few more on Friday night, and I thought, no, let me spread it out. Let me just do 10 a day, 10, 10, 10. And so I didn't. I went into FUT Rivals. I played in there instead. And then today, obviously, I came up and played 10 games on Saturday, and I made sure I played them early. Normally I start my games in the evening, and I really fall off because I just get tired, I get FIFA tired, I get actual tired, and the pressure just gets to be a bit much. So I went on another insane win streak, and we actually got to 16-1, which I think over a 30-game weekend league is a great start. I then lost 2 games in a row to just 2 very good players. I lost to the guy with the icons and the Neymar and Mbappe. He beat me 1-0 with that Pogba finesse. I was doing really well. He was just outplaying me anyway. He deserved to win without the goal that he scored, but I was moving my keeper a lot to stop his time finesses from the edge of the box. And on the one occasion where I didn't move my goalkeeper, he actually hit the finesse shot perfectly with Pogba and scored. I had a couple of chances late on and just didn't take them. I wouldn't have deserved to get back in the game anyway. He thoroughly deserved to beat me, but I still came out of that game just really happy with how I played. He had a much better team than me, and although I know you guys think that my team is very good, and hey, I'm not saying it's not very good, but when you've got Neymar, Mbappe, Pogba, Kante, Seedorf, Ramos, Rio Ferdinand, those kind of cards, I don't have those kind of cards. I got some good cards. You know, Varane is very good. Trezeguet and De Bruyne are very good. And then Hazard is also very good. But Fred and Lucas and Zonzi, Florenzi, Nacho and Mendy, they just don't compete to these guys, Jordi Albas and Kyle Walkers and stuff like that. They just don't. So I feel like even though I came out of that game as a loser, I felt like I just did myself really proud in that game and came away not even remotely frustrated. And into the next game, I ended up losing 5-3. That was a close game. Again, a really good team that I came up against. I feel like if I played that guy, he was at the time, he messaged me afterwards, he's a fan of the series. He was 16-3 after that game. And he was 17-3, sorry, and I went from 16-2 to 16-3. So his record was very similar to mine, which is obviously great for matchmaking. And I do feel like if we played 5 or 6 times, I would get some wins, especially due to right at the very end, I got clean in his box with Kevin De Bruyne, 8 yards out, and he puts it wide. At 4-4 going into extra time, who knows how that game would have panned out, and then he countered me and scored a 5th. But even so, out of that game, I came out of that game thinking, hey, I just played really well. And then into the 20th game, for me to get 17-3, you know, obviously he starts playing in the back of my mind like, man, if I lose here, I've gone from 16-1 to 16-4. I'm going to be going into Sunday on a terrible streak. That starts playing in the back of my mind. But what I've been telling myself this week is forget about where you can get to and just focus on playing your best FIFA every single game. As long as you focus hard, focus at 100% level every game, you're going to come out on top of games that you shouldn't come out on top of, and you're going to definitely come out on top of games that you should come out on top of, and then you're going to give hard games against people that are really good. And the guy in the 20th game, he had a really good team, and he was a really good player. And he took the lead, and I didn't let it get to me. I equalised, and then I scored a really late goal to get a 2-1 win, and then I scored. He stopped playing, so I scored again and dabbed on him because he stopped playing. But yeah, generally speaking, I just played really good this weekend league. Now, Eden Hazard, it's going to be interesting to see how my results differ without Hazard. He actually hasn't done all that much in terms of goal contributions. 10 goals and 8 assists in his 20 games, which is obviously fantastic, but not as good as I would have thought or hoped, and makes me know with that loan that I know for sure I definitely do not want to complete his SBC. Sané does an amazing job for me anyway. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if my results really drop massively and how impactful Hazard might have been just because I had him rather than having Sané. But Sané is really good. So in terms of the stats on the team, I know you guys want to see those. We've got 121 games with Adan. We've got 98 now with Florenzi, 1 goal, 7 assists, 2 yellows. We've got 136 with Varane, no goals and no assists, 5 yellows, 1 red. We've got 126 games with Fernandes with 4 assists and 1 yellow card. We've got 151 with Mendy, 1 goal and 7 assists. And I think it shows, like, look how good Florenzi is. His card, I think, is good. And he's got 1 goal, 7 assists in 98. And then Mendy has 1 goal, 7 assists in 150. And in this year's game, I actually feel like the fullbacks do get involved quite a lot. And I think it goes to show just how bad, not that Mendy is bad, but how he's not quite as good as Jordi Alba or Marcelo or Alexandro, because he just doesn't get involved up the field. That could be seen as a positive. Maybe that's why I'm defending so well in the game. But there's his stats. We then move on to NepentheZ. 88 games, 11 goals, 22 assists, 3 yellows, 1 red. Love this card. As good as he is, though, obviously I would prefer a Seedorf or a Pogba or a Kante or something like that. But he's good for me, man. He does a really, really powerful job in that midfield. And although he gets caught out a few times because of his pace and his work rates, he's generally been the difference between last week and this week in how well I've been playing. David Trezeguet is on fire at the moment. Since we switched into the permanent 4-2-3-1, Trezeguet scores so many goals for me. 166 goals now in 170 games. There's about 50 about 50 squad battles games in there, but 120 games outside of that. 68 assists, 3 yellows. He is a beast. He's an absolute beast. And then Kevin De Bruyne is another one who is just a machine for me. 106 games, playing mostly in at that cam role. 69 goals and 52 assists. So he contributes to more than 1 goal per game. And David Trezeguet contributes to way more, like 1.5 goals per game. We then have Lucas, who I don't get on with him at all. 160 games, 35 goals, 52 assists. He's usually one that I sub off because his stamina is so low. His in-game stats are really, really nice. I actually might change his chem style and give him something that boosts his crossing, because my crossing is terrible. I never score headers. And one of the games that I lost, actually, for 5-2, that guy's Harry Kane was just a monster, and it was because all the crosses landed onto him. But yeah, so Lucas there with 160 games, only 35 goals and 52 assists, and then Sané with 106, 56 and 25. Of course, bear in mind, a lot of those games for Sané are actually as a sub now, because we had 20 games with Hazard, so he's got about 15, maybe 18 games as a sub, which impacts his stats slightly, but not too much. And then I've been putting on some of the big guys on the bench. I went through and discarded a lot of the trash. But now we've basically got just four guys left. I don't think I have any other loans outside of that. Maybe one more. Yeah, Tellez, but I'm never really going to use Tellez at left back either because he just doesn't link for me. But yeah, we've been bringing on Mertens and Milinkovic-Savic, Dybala and Griezmann just in those tough games, and sometimes they were the difference for me. So very happy with that. So that, guys, is a squad. We have completed a couple of weekly objectives, or 1 daily objective, 1 weekly objective. No, 2 weekly objectives. So the swap deals player win 8 games by 2 goals, and we get Bautista. So he's our 4th one now. We can send him into the club and we'll claim those when the time is right. And we complete through balls, which gives us a squad fitness card. Cheers for that. And then we've got swap deals players score 5 separate rivals matches, which we'll get throughout the course of the week. So that'll be another swap deals player. Then the international friendlies, I'm probably not even going to try and do. Play 2 friendly seasons matches. I don't care for a silver players pack for that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Brazil versus Argentina. Argentina score with a Brazilian player in 3 separate rivals wins. I don't really have Brazilian players. So for me to be able to do that, I've got Fred. That's going to be tough to score goals with Fred and win the game. For a 2-player untradeable pack, I don't really care about that all that much. And then in terms of the coins, we're almost up to 350,000 coins now. We sold Petr Cech. Obviously, we've got Busquets from our draft to glory victory, which put 35k into the bank. But generally speaking, we're killing it, man. We're doing great stuff. I've got a lot of coins. So next time an SBC comes out where I actually love the player, obviously Hazard, I could afford him. I don't want him. And then Juanfran is just a bit too expensive for me. He is he's about 110,000 coins to start. You do get 35k pack and I think a 20k pack. You get a Prime Electrum Players pack and a Mega pack to finish. But for 120k coins for that card and those 2 packs, I think that would be a waste. I think that wouldn't be, he won't fit into my team unless I get other players that will then help fit him into the team. So we're not going to be doing Juanfran. However, because I have got a really healthy amount of coins, if there's promo packs again, we're going to end this video off. I think there's still 25k packs. So yeah, we're going to end this video off with one more 25k pack to see if we can get something nice out of this. We don't get a board player. Do we get an inform or a board or an inform? We get a board. I said we don't get a walkout is what I meant. Dutch striker. Oh, could you imagine if that was Depay? Of course it's Dost. If that was Depay, that would have been really, really nice. Bas Dost, an 83 rated, I don't think he's worth much. Ooh, Party. He might be worth a nice little chunk right now. Not really, like maybe 1,700 coins. Dost also about the same. The rest of these guys not really worth all that much. Let's list him up for 1800. We're going to list Berami up as well. And I'll just save those other guys into the club for a time where they're actually going to be useful or sellable. But that, guys, is going to be the end of the video for today. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.